bit more.
Just a bit, yeah. That's a good genes.
Okay, you should be good.
All right.
When you're done, bring
Yes.
bring that down to 201.
Perfect. And
Okay.
I'll bring your stick.
Okay.
Perfect. 201.
Yep, that's clear the end.
All right.
Whoop, that's the speaker's room, so.
We'll see if you can pick up the other one.
Oh, yeah. Another speaker? Or your mom?
Good chance to slide. Push that to go back on the slide.
This way so I can see, because now I don't know what this is advanced.
Really?
That's back.
That's
And
it.
forward.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
This.
Well, then we can
So
use
we'll
it.
go from up there. Yeah.
These kids, so we won't be better.
Yeah. So, all right. So I need to go. So I need to get out of this. Close that
So
down.
what's the middle ground? You guys need to know what's-
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
basketball. And just irritation.
Open up. I'll have to come back here for these. Yep. Yes, we are.
I respect what he does. I just don't understand it.
I'm just getting all these websites up so that I can just
Well, actually, he built pros for president.
teach my.
So, good. They just got acquired by the
In sequence.
Oh, those are the.
Okay, so that's all
And then
good. That's getting kicked out. That's getting kicked up. That's the slideshow. We are set to go.
yes, we use this.
That's right. Could be dangerous.
And what?
That's the place you're trying to shake.
They're not user friendly. Yeah, they're not user friendly at all.
What time is it?
We still got a little time. It doesn't start till 9.
7 minutes. Okay.
All right. Hi.
Hey,
Make sure everything's working out.
we got it all set up. Had somebody else come in here and figure it out for us. So,
Oh,
barring
I had a
some
question
crash,
for you.
we're good.
We were told that this is being recorded. Is that right? How will we be able to get a copy of that?
I know we're saving them. I'm not sure how we're distributing them. I'll ask Kevin how he can get a copy.
Right, and he's down at the.
So,
Well, I,
I'll go ask him now.
oh, you're gonna ask. Okay.
you're just helping this weekend?
Just helping this weekend. I'm a professional actor. First off, I produce. I do brand ambassador work. I love it all.
Brand ambassador.
It's basically where you go to different events.
Exactly.
I do MC work too for events. I've been the gecko for Geico. I've been the mascot.
Hopefully not this summertime.
Just recently, the Cardinals 49er game. I got to go on the field during the third quarter and
Cool.
do a little event with the kids.
Kids, oh, that's lovely.
So I'm out there, I'm shaking my tail.
Right, working it. And when you have the mask on, you go crazy.
Oh, I love
Nobody
it.
knows.
I love it.
Nobody even knows.
There was a touchdown right in the end zone, right in the corner, like where we were sitting
Nice.
before we went on. So you play his feet. Just it was awesome. I wanted to get that.
They're all saved on the industry.
Now, do you work for yourself or you work for an agent?
Once it's
I just work for myself. I've got an agent for my acting.
Tell me that.
For
Newsstream.com.
myself, still in the other contractor. We've got a production company called Back on 24.
Okay.
Um,
But the reason why is my son is a media student at Arizona State ASU West. He's looking to get placed out of school. He's got a lot of anxiety. He's a junior. He's got a lot of anxiety about getting that first job. He's worked on the stage, he's done the wiring, he's done a lot of the stage type work for school. He wants to, he's looking to try and get in someplace, even get some experience, intern, whatever. So.
and he wants to, what specifically does he want to do?
Well, his dream job is to edit film. He wants to help put together film with people and do all the editing parts. And he's done acting. He was a thespian in high school. He's
tell them to check out entertainmentcareers.net. They have a lot of jobs, even though most of them are in LA, they have a ton of.
He has no problem about.
They have a ton of jobs and internships in the entertainment industry that would blow his mind. And entertainmentcareers.net. Yeah, it's awesome. You can find a ton of different types of careers, internships, stuff like that. I mean, from editing to hosting to, to working behind the scenes. They have all kinds of really fun careers and stuff like that. They update it every day, and they're really, really good hosting.
Yeah, he was told by one of my other friends to look at a company locally called Rhino Staging, and they do a lot of stuff with concert setup.
Right, the bigger events, probably Pro Am is another one that does special events. They do a lot of like
This is we right by it.
Yeah, that people love it. People would love it. It's a great source of information.
He's very active with costumes.
Oh, yeah.
So he's Star Wars in a big way. And so he dresses up as a Mandalorian, bounty hunter from Star Wars. So he looks like Boba Fett, but he's got his own.
We didn't see him go by
A
it.
lot of people don't realize.
No.
Did you see us when you came up here?
I came upstairs, came to 204, went back downstairs.
Oh, so you didn't go back through the...
No, I went to the staircase by the door we came in.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Past the TVs. Hallway, upstairs.
We were standing there, is there?
Yeah, I thought I heard Jason laughing.
Yeah, we were standing right there, all of us, waiting for you for soda.
Then we went back through there, we're like, where's Bill? We went back
Because I
to the
went and dropped my
machine.
tickets off in the box.
He was already up in front of the podcast.
Yeah, and then I walked up, came here.
You never know what
I didn't feel that we'd end up seeing him this
They have a ton of ideas, careers, stuff that they may be able to get into, even if it's an internship. Those can be great opportunities. It's
understandable.
Hey,
I think he just has a lot of anxiety.
I appreciate that, sir.
No, I had one yesterday.
Enough.
Right. Well, the entertainment industry, that's no matter what, no matter what, but if his skills are there, and he does the extra work, he does find a way stuff like that, it won't be a problem.
I don't think it will. I think
It's just the nervousness, stepping out on his own.
It's not so good if you're really. But first couple of days, well, I never wear them, so when you start you look at guys who's been in like 20, 30 years, they have no anxiety.
No, I don't.
They know what they can do.
You know what I mean? So that, I'm always feel like.
What do you think?
What's up, Bessie?
Sometimes it's a little messy, we talk it out, but everything after that gets better.
I guess the same thing.
You down?
Or,
Computer.
There's no way you got that stuff, but the ones after that are awesome, so that's, sustainable with careers and, stuff like that.
Get it. I was so mad, dude. There was a last minute event. There's an app you need to get for your Metro interface, and it tells you about like tech events and shit going on in your area. And Microsoft had one on Friday. For Windows 8, it was an app and hackathon. And like if you had an idea for an app or anything for the Metro, you would go in and they would help you build it.
Yeah, did they cancel that one?
Yes. They canceled it for Arizona, not enough registrations. Yeah. So there was like 100 developers on site. So if you walked in with an idea, walked in with a half-built app, walked in with I got this thing, they would help you build it for free. Whatever you wanted. By the time I found out, it was too late. They already canceled it.
He started his own production company.
Not enough registrations.
Rhymes with orange. He does nothing rhymes with orange.
So he's definitely one of a kind.
Oh, it's very creative.
So I'll learn more about him. I'm very interested.
It's like a crazy cool feature.
Conversation. Is this a good time to break? Hi, I'm Lindy Schneider.
And I'm Tom Schneider, and we're going to introduce ourselves. This will work right here.
It did for a minute.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
That's us.
We're called America's Money Archaeologists because we help people find money in unexpected places.
Isn't archaeology in the past?
Yes. But you have money that you don't know is even available, and we help people discover where that money is.
We call you Dollar Jones.
Yeah, there you go. Dollar Jones.
I like
Or
that.
2 cents Jones, because we throw in our 2 cents everywhere. So we're willing to give 2 cents to anyone, just ask us. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to have to stand on this side, obviously, to make this work. Cash for creatives, finding the money to fund your creative projects on the internet. So, boy, this is not.
If I lay like this?
There we go.
Signal help.
Free money.
Yeah.
All right, yes,
Can you just
now.
kind of, there we go.
All right, we're going to be talking about, we together, Tom and I authored a book, Cash for Creatives, and it is almost out. This is the proof copy, and we talk about found money, fast money, and free money. The found money is basically the money that you already have and being able to spend it differently so that you have more money in your pocket by the end of the year, thousands more. The fast money, we talk about things that you already know and how you can turn that into cash very quickly by teaching or other methods that are much faster. And then the free money is what we're going to be talking about today in here, and it's about using crowdfunding sites where in the past you needed to find a patron or a bank to loan you money, this kind of thing. Today we have this phenomenal opportunity through crowdfunding sites where you can put your passion out there, talk to people directly about what you want to fund, and then they give you small amounts of money. And you heard me right, give you small amounts of money, not loan you money, so that you can bring about your dream project, whatever that is. Okay, so what is crowdfunding? And it is a way to talk to people about what's on your heart and what you want to accomplish. Instead of asking a bank for a loan, as I said, this is something where
Okay, this is not working well. So
my dream project right now is a remote
there
that
we
works.
Get right on.
Okay, I'm going to let you take it at this point. Do you want to do that, or well, let me go on.
Okay.
I'll go on a little bit further, and then I'll give.
all right.
Okay.
We tag team here, so.
Yeah, we arm wrestle for who gets
Yeah.
to talk about what. All right, so these are some of the really top ones: Kickstarter.com, Indiegogo.com, Rocket Hub. They're each just a little bit different. There are hundreds, and it's estimated there will be 500 crowdfunding sites by the end of the year. These are the ones that have been around the longest, and longest I mean like 5 years or less. Kickstarter, I don't know if we got into it, but Kickstarter, do we talk about that later?
Yeah,
Kickstarter?
Kickstarter is mainly for creative projects.
Mhm.
So if you're writing a how-to book how to have a greener lawn, Kickstarter isn't going to be the site that's going to work for you. But Indiegogo is kind of a, we'll let you raise money for anything from, gee, my husband has cancer and we need to raise $50,000 for his medical treatments, to I want to send my kids to baseball camp, or creative projects like writing and filmmaking and things of that nature. Rocket Hub is primarily family-friendly projects, so there's not going to be any erotica novels that are being fundraised on that site. And then there's several specialty crowdfunding sites. Like AppBacker is a crowdfunding site specifically for phone apps.
So if you create apps, that's where you can get funding for your app.
And there's another crowdfunding site that just deals with fashion and clothing design. So there are literally hundreds more, and there's more being created every week or every month.
Okay, as you can see, there have been nearly 75,000 projects launched on Kickstarter, over $375 million raised, but only about 55%, well, 55% have failed to reach full funding. So there is a method to the madness. It's not just a matter of set up a crowdfunding site, set it and forget it. It's still a lot of work and a lot of planning, but not in the same way you would have to do through getting a loan. You do not have to create this massive business plan. Other sites have a poorer track record than the 3 that I've given you already, and your campaign can still be successful. We want to talk to you about some of the key things you want to look for and you want to put into your campaign to make sure that you get your funding that you're looking for. Okay, our success story. The reason we're talking about this is that we started with a concept. We wanted to create a children's book.
And I'm going to actually show you that website here. So.
Oh, good. All right. We have my notes on this too. All right. We wanted to create a children's book. We had been working with a foster. It's actually a nonprofit that helps foster kids, and we wanted to create a children's book that would delight kids but inspire and encourage the adult reader that's reading it to them. So we created Starfish on the Beach. We estimated we needed $3,800 to get it printed, to get the scans made of the illustrations. I'm an illustrator. Together, Tom and I are writers and have done work in that field for years. But this was our own project. We wanted to fund ourselves. So we put it up with a $3,800 goal. We gave it doesn't say up here, but we gave it 40 days, all right? We reached our funding on the 39th day and then went over. The exciting thing is we continued to bring in some funds because we have our picture, we have our little bio, how to contact us. So even when the funding closed, because we had our website, our URL up there, which is down at another spot, people continued to contact us. So it was a very successful campaign. We were able to produce the book and give a bunch away to the kids in this program that they give books to for foster care. Okay, so I think I told you all that. The interesting thing is that we had a very small listing on our Facebook. We had a small following on Facebook, should we say. Not a lot of friends on our email. I'm talking 250. Okay, this is not very big, and yet we were able to do this. We discovered after the fact that 40% of our funding came from people we didn't even know. All right, so people began asking us, how did you do it? And so we created the book, and we've been coaching some people. Tom's going to walk you through the basics on how to make your crowdfunding site work, things that we learned in the process. So go ahead, Tom.
All right. Obviously, the first thing to do is you need to have a project. So what we're talking about is a very specific project, not say, gee, I want to start an art career, okay, or gee, I want to be a writer, so I'm going to raise money to start my writing career. You need to have a specific project in mind, a specific book, a specific art show. I want to develop this, technology or whatever. So have something specific in mind. As you can see, there are all kinds of different categories, and there's plenty more than just these. These are just some of the highlights. Art projects do pretty well. Film and video is very big in crowdfunding success stories. If you have a film or video project that appeals to people, it's pretty easy to get funding for those, even though in many cases those are $20,000, $30,000. Games are big if it's something that intrigues people. Inventions and technology are almost a lock unless you're creating something that has already been done before. Okay, those people love new gadgets, and in many cases those will be funded 300, 400, 500% of their goal. So obviously books and drama, those are all things that are things that are easily funded at crowdfunding sites. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back because that's just not what it is. All right, so the second thing obviously is to choose a crowdfunding site. Now this is where you're going to have to spend some time and do some research. The all or nothing refers to whether you are going to get any money from that site if you don't reach your goal. So Kickstarter is an all or nothing site. You say, we need $3,800 like we did for our book. If we raised $3,799.99 in pledges, we get 0. Okay? Now, there's some advantages to doing it that way and some disadvantages, but that is one of the factors you need to consider. So if your project requires you to get all of the money you need in order to make that project possible, you have to go with a all or nothing site. Because if you raise half of the money, but you're required to provide all of those rewards that you promise people, and you can't do it with that amount of money, you just dug yourself a big hole. Okay? To keep it all is what's called flexible spending. So Indiegogo gives you the choice of having an all or nothing, which is called fixed spending, or a keep it all, which is flexible spending. So if you only get 2/3 of your goal or 1/2 your goal, you get to keep the money that came in anyway. So for certain projects, that works. For other ones, it doesn't. So you need to make those determinations. Next, does your project fit the demographics of the site? Now, this is one of those things where we're talking about if you had a writing project, for example, Indiegogo, even though it's a very large site, is not a very productive site for writers. Very, very, very few books are fully funded on Indiegogo. You put it on Kickstarter, that same campaign, you're going to have far more likely chance of success because Kickstarter people, for some reason, like books a lot more than Indiegogo people do. So those are some of the things you're going to have to look for. Then how successful have other similar projects been? If you're doing a book, or if you're doing a film, go do some research on those sites as to what other films in your genre or what other books in your style of things have been successful. Or if they haven't been successful, how close did they come to their goal? If you've got a $10,000 film budget and the average project raised $1,300, that's not a good fit for your project. How easy is the site to set up? This is something that you really don't get to know too much until you start digging in, and then you find out, wow, this is really clunky. Kickstarter is probably one of the easier ones to set up logistically. Indiegogo is easy in some areas, and then in other areas it's a little quirky. Rocket Hub is a little more difficult than both of those. So you're going to want to see how difficult that is if you're more technically savvy, which tech conference people should certainly be. That's probably not a determining factor. And then how flexible is the website to changes? Some of these websites, once you set up your program and launch it, it's pretty much set in stone. You can't make a lot of changes. In other cases, there's a lot of opportunity to add updates, add new videos, add new perks, do all kinds of other things in the process. So those are all factors you're going to want to consider before you choose your funding site. The third one is determining how much money you're going to need, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. You go, well, gee, I need $5,000 to get my project printed. Okay, well, that's wonderful, except that there's a lot of other things that you have to consider. First of all, money for supplies. If you're doing an art project, for example, you're going to need to buy paints and brushes and canvases or frames or whatever the case may be. Doing films or acting theater things, you're going to have to rent studio space or a theater potentially to put those on. Printing fees for books, obviously that's an expensive proposition if you're going to do traditional printing. Equipment rental, renting cameras or renting sound studios or whatever the case may be. Travel expenses if you're going on location. Say you're going to do an art show in Poughkeepsie, New York. You're going to need travel to get there. Those expenses have to be included. Production costs, if you're doing film especially. Transaction fees and site charges. Every one of these crowdfunding sites will charge you anywhere from 5 to 12% to have the privilege of using them as a platform to raise money. So you need to factor that into the equation. If you have a $5,000 funding budget, it's going to cost you maybe $250 to $500 of that raised money that's going to go to that crowdfunding site. There's also the transaction fees, the credit card fees, the PayPal fees. Those are in addition to that crowdfunding site. Then in all of your crowdfunding programs, you're going to have offering rewards to people to give them an incentive. Say, hey, if you give me this amount of money, we'll do this for you. You have to factor in the cost of what those rewards are going to be. We'll talk about those later and how you set those up. And then if it's a physical product that you're going to have to ship to those rewards people, if they're local, you may want to just drive around and hand them out to them, but you're going to have some shipping charges involved. So you're going to need to create a budget for yourself, and then as an added buffer, add 10%.
I'd like to interject something here. There is no fee to use these sites unless you raise money on them.
Correct.
And that's an important distinction.
You do not have to pay Kickstarter to set up your or Indiegogo. Okay, all the sites are free. Most of them are. There's a few that do have a fee, but most of them are free to use, and they just take a percentage of what you earn. Right. The fourth one is creating rewards to motivate your backers. Obviously, this is a critical component. There have been projects. Yes.
On the all or nothing ones, just to put, if you don't make it, the money goes away, they don't charge you anything.
That's correct.
And the money goes back.
No one is charged. No one is charged at all. They hold those credit card transactions until they know that you've received full funding. At the end of your campaign, then they charge everybody's card.
Okay.
Okay. So if it doesn't achieve full funding, it's like it never happened and nobody ever saw a charge on their card. Okay. Now, for creating the rewards, these are the reasons why people are going to support your project. So obviously, if you don't want to use up all of your revenue that you're generating in handing out rewards unless you're just pre-selling something. Okay? So generally speaking, 25 to 50% of the amount pledged is what you're going to use as a benchmark. It obviously has to be something that will have some value to the person supporting your project, but it can't be too expensive for you. Unique rewards are extremely valuable. Filmmakers have a great advantage in that regard because they can go, hey, if you give us $20, we'll send you a signed copy of the DVD. And if for $50, we'll let you have a bit part, a walk-on role as an extra in the movie. And if you give us $1,000, we'll let you say a few lines at the risk of ruining our movie if you're a terrible actor. So having unique rewards is something that helps to boost people's interest in what you're proposing to them. You don't want something that's time intensive to produce. If you're an artist and you go, hey, I will do an original illustration for everyone that contributes $100, and you get 150 people that are supporting your project, you got some serious problems. Okay, so make sure that it's not something that's going to take your time to effectively produce. And then have multiple price points. There have been campaigns that go, well, if you contribute anything more than $10, we will thank you and give you this. Those are virtually never successful. So you're going to want to have several, probably 7 to 8 is usually about the average, and you're going to want to have quite a few of those on the short end. You can technically start with as little as $1. Quite frankly, it's not worth offering a reward for $1 in my opinion. We start at $10, and if anybody doesn't have $10, your project isn't that interesting to work with. Okay, so you'll have like $10, $20, $35, $50. All 4 of those rewards are within that $20 to $50 range, and that's generally where the majority of your backers are going to come from. So have 3 or 4 steps in that first $50, $60 worth that they can access. And then you can have things as up as $250, $500. In our Starfish book, we actually had one person contribute $500 toward that book. Yes?
So what type of rewards did you offer for your book?
We'll actually show those a little bit later on. So we'll show you exactly. And we'll have some examples at the end of other sites as well. Setting up payment accounts. This is something, obviously, you need to get paid. If people are contributing to your campaign, you're going to want to make sure that you get your money at the end. So you need to set up a separate PayPal account, and then it will be linked to that crowdfunding site, or Amazon payments. That's another common one. Almost all of the crowdfunding sites use one of these 2.
Tom, if you have one of those already, can they be used, or do you have to set up?
Yep, if you already have one set up, you can just create that link through the crowdfunding site. The 6th consideration is you need to set up a deadline. How long is your crowdfunding campaign going to run? Generally, you can do it as little as 2 weeks or 15 days. You can do it in some cases 90 to 120 days. In very, very, very few circumstances do you want to go over 40 days. You're raising money for your cancer treatments, okay? Do the 120 days, that's fine, okay? If you've got that long to wait before your money can come in, which could be another consideration. For creative projects, virtually nothing over 40 days is going to be successful. We pushed ours out to 40 days, and we got our full funding on the 39th day. But if you go beyond 40, 45 days, you will see diminishing returns, and that's simply because you're continually sending out notices to all of your friends and they're getting sick of hearing about your project. Okay? So optimal campaign length is 25 to 40 days. One of the important considerations that people don't pay attention to, and one of the reasons why many campaigns fail, is because they don't think about the fact that, oh gosh, there's a holiday in the middle of my campaign, or gee, there's an election coming up in the middle of my campaign, or something of that nature. Those are all factors that are going to distract your backers from funding your campaign. They can also keep you from managing your campaign, because you don't just set it and forget it. You're going to be actively involved in this throughout the course of that campaign activity. And if you are too busy or too distracted to really follow up on that on a daily basis, you're not likely to be successful. Finally, you're going to add an extra 2 weeks from the end of the campaign before you get your money. So if you have a specific deadline that you have to raise funds for, and you have to get moving forward, and oops, we forgot the campaign was done, but I'm not going to get my money for 2 weeks, bad planning on your part. Okay? The seventh thing, compose compelling description of your project. This is the, if you remember in elementary school you had show and tell. Okay? The next two components are going to be the show and tell part. This is the tell part. You're going to describe what your project is, why it's important, all of the things that are going to make this work. It can be relatively short, it can be pretty lengthy. Make it long enough to tell what you want to tell about the project. Okay? One of the things that's interesting in the neuromarketing research, this is brain research, they have done some recent studies to find that buying decisions are not based in the logical side of your brain. So you are not making a logical choice about, gee, I think that's a wise decision for me to buy. 80%, 70 to 80% of your buying decisions are done in the part of your brain that determines emotion and memory. You make an emotional connection to that product. I've got to have that. Okay? So your campaign has to be gearing into the emotional side of people's response. The memory part comes in that branding. Gee, I've seen that all everywhere. I've seen that 4 or 5 times. This is why it's more of your backers are going to come in after 3 or 4 contacts from you as opposed to the first contact, because you're building that emotional response in that memory. You're going to tell your story, your specific individual reason why this is something they should support. Why should they support you? What makes you so special that your project is significant? So make it personal. Thirdly, it is a sales pitch. So if you don't like sales, you better not try crowdfunding. If you think sales is a dirty word, you know what? You're not going to be successful. Okay? You're selling something that is to benefit them. So emphasize those benefits. Okay? It's not saying, gee, I want to take money from you. And if you go in with that attitude, you're going to have a hard time doing that. Saying, I have something that you really need and want. It's going to be a benefit to you. Let me show you all those benefits. It's like selling the sizzle and not the steak, if you've heard that phrase. Okay? So those are important considerations. The show part of the show and tell is the creating your video. Now, you can make this elaborate. You can make it very simple. The main thing it has to do is be compelling. It needs to show why your project matters. Is the world going to be a better place because your project exists? Okay? Or is their life going to improve because you're doing this thing? Or is it just going to be more beautiful around here because you're creating that project? Reveal your passion and personality. This is where, on film, you can show things that you can't say. Okay? You do not have to have your face on the video for 3 minutes. Okay? But they do need to see you at least initially so that they connect you're a real person doing this project. Add visuals that the words can't show. So if you are doing writing, you know, you can show excerpts of what you're writing, or show you sitting at your computer typing while you're talking in voiceover. Anything that gives you some balance into that. Be creative. Creative videos can get you featured on the website. Every one of these crowdfunding sites, they will go, you know what, we really love this project, or this video is so creative. We're going to feature that. It's going to be on their front page when people log on to that website. Or in some cases, they actually send emails out to people who have contributed to other campaigns saying, hey, take a look at this one. If you are fortunate enough to be able to get in that category, you're almost 100% guaranteed you're going to get funding, full funding. So put some time and effort and energy into creating a video that's compelling, entertaining, interesting, tugs at people's heartstrings. Your video script should be different than your written copy. It's the description that we just showed you is not a transcript of your video. Okay? Create a video that is different and unique. It can have some overlap of information, obviously, but make those complementary instead of duplicated. And especially in the video, explain what inspired you to create this project. What was the motivation for you to do that? In our particular case with the Starfish on the Beach book, my brother and sister-in-law had adopted 3 kids who were from abusive homes. So we have a personal connection to that. So we shared that story as part of our video. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why we received the full funding we did, because that tapped into a lot of people's experiences. And then last, compose your biography. This is not a resume. We do not care if you graduated cum laude from MIT. Okay? Really don't care. But if you go donate your charitable time at a homeless shelter and you're doing a project to benefit the homeless, or that tells the story of the homeless, or whatever the case may be, that's significant. So put the relevant information into that bio. Why are you the one to do this project? What makes you uniquely qualified to do that? Why would somebody want to back you? Well, because I've got this compelling story. And then you want to make sure that you put in that contact information, which we alluded to earlier, where we showed you, go to that website, find contact information. We actually raised about $250 after our campaign was closed from people that, oh man, I found this, I saw this was a complete project, or I meant to contribute and we ran out of time, how can we participate? So we actually raised over $4,300 for this campaign, even though it doesn't show up on that campaign because it was over, but we still raised an extra $250. And then if you have a website or other kind of contact information, make sure you put that down, because there may be reasons for people to contact you in the future, and you may have other things that you can present to them that they may also be interested in. So I'm going to turn this back over to Lindy so we can show you some websites of things that work and things that don't, and some specifics and how that whole process works.
Because they have one question, go on back to the Starfish one to start, and it'll show you exactly what we offered as rewards. Down here is where the list of rewards are. He was talking about the video and then the written part. You can slip in some visuals in the written part. That's where he was talking about being different, not a transcript of your video. Over here are the rewards. We did have a $1
And we did, and I'll, yes.
Go ahead and scroll down. At the $10 pledge, we gave them 2 note cards and envelopes featuring artwork from the book. Plus, we had a report, 10 websites you should know that will save you big money. That was because of the other book that we were working on at the time, and which is now finished. We thought, well, we'll also see what interest there is on that level. That was also our reward in the $1. One, because it's a download. It cost us no time, no money, no shipping. So for a $1 donation, you can give them a download, whatever it is, and that's the perfect thing to have as a thank you and a reward. At $20, we gave them a copy of the book, and again, the $20 to $30 range tends to be your magic numbers, even up to $50. So we had 26 backers in the $20 range, 8 backers at the $30 range. We gave them 2 copies of the book at the $30 range. So as it goes up, they get a little bit more. Quite often you'll see on these sites, they'll say, and everything that we offered above, you know, if when you get, each time you go higher, they add something plus everything else. At $50, we had 7 backers. What do we have there? Everything at the $30 level, which was the 2 books, and, 3 books. We had 3 books and then a small little drawing inside. So I think I drew a little starfish or a little boy standing by the water, something, I don't remember.
We'll just go through the rest of these too, just briefly.
Okay,
Because
the $100 pledge, let's see.
we had 8 backers, and primarily it's not so much what we offered, but just to show you that people do contribute more.
Keep going down, I wanted to show them one more thing. We had a conference package. Someone that was doing a conference could get 25 books because it's a book of encouragement to adults as well as for children. So that's what we offered there. Scroll some more. We had the $5 level. This one we limited to 5 or we limited to 6. We only got 1 backer, but with this one I was giving an original watercolor from the book. And so I didn't want to wipe out all my illustrations. So you can limit.
That's a good idea.
And that's a good thing. So at any level, you can add a limit. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to show them
All right.
on this one. Go ahead.
I'm going to show one more thing on this also. And this is important up here, this data, and we'll show this on the other sites we're going to show you as well. We did 13 updates during this campaign. We had 59 backers, which $4,000 and 59 backers, that's a really good ratio. We had pretty significant funding for this project per person. But the 59 backers, the updates is the real key here. This means we were actively engaged in this campaign. Basically, every 3 days, we posted something new that let people know what was going on. Gee, we reached 10% of our goal. Wow, we just passed $500 of our funding. Just those little simple notices help people to feel engaged. They stay in tune with the process, and it keeps that project in mind so they can move forward.
Go ahead and give me Jeff Dexter.
Yep, it's up.
The next one, I'm going to show you 2 campaigns that failed and 2 campaigns that succeeded, and we're going to talk about why. This guy should have succeeded. He has phenomenal photographs. He has shown several of his photographs through the description of his project, his rewards. He's giving away a calendar. He's giving away prints, things like that. So why did this one fail? Let's go back on him. You can even see how many connections he has on Facebook. Let's see, where is that?
Down
right
here.
Here. 365 friends on Facebook, but he only got 17 backers. And he's got 6 hours to go. If you want to back this guy, there's still a chance. He may have asked for too much. $6,800 was pretty steep for him to try and climb. You can always raise more than what you put up, and the fact that he can create prints one at a time, he didn't need to start that high. If he had started at $1,000, bam, all of a sudden he's got something to start with. He starts printing those up, he can have a show, he can turn around and put up another crowdfunding site later. So don't make it too high. But the key thing that I want to show you, and Tom kind of stole my secret here, if you look up at the updates, one update, he was not communicating with his people. We liked this guy. We happen to back it. When we find things that we like, we back them. We will not get our print. We will not get what we back.
And we won't be charged.
Because it's not going to go through. Probably, with 6 hours to go, unless you guys are really, really excited.
You guys have $5,129 amongst you to support, we will appreciate it.
So if he doesn't make his 6,800 goal, he doesn't get the 1,671?
He gets nothing.
Wow. Okay.
It all
'Cause this-
goes away.
Because this is a
So start low
Kickstarter.
and keep
This is
building.
Kickstarter.
Right.
Kickstarter is all or nothing.
Okay.
Indiegogo is one where you keep whatever you get, and he could have done that
Yep.
because with photographs, again, like I said, you're printing them one at a time. If you're trying to do 1,000 books and you only get partial and you're on a keep it all site, you're toast because you don't have enough to print all the books and you have to give the rewards. Now he doesn't have to provide any rewards, but hopefully he's learned something. What I started to say is we did back this and we never received even a thank you. I noticed that I got it, this is how far I've gotten. So my hunch is this was a set and forget. You can't do that even when it's gorgeous.
So I have another question then.
Yeah.
So it's expected that you would send the rewards as the pledges come in?
No,
So
no.
Nope.
you wait till the end to find out whether you did
In
or not?
fact, you don't even have all the contact information. As I
Okay.
said, 40% of the people we had never even met. So once your site ends, once you reach the deadline, when his last 6 hours are up, he will then get a listing of everybody. In this case, he will not.
Because he doesn't.
Because you didn't reach
He didn't make it
So-
close, so he will not get their contact information unless he talked to them during the campaign, which is something else you can do. And then you get a dialogue going, then when it closes, if you don't reach your funds, you still know these are people that want to support you. You've got a patron here. What were you
You
gonna
said
ask?
there's a couple of weeks before you even cash out once if you are successful and reach your campaign. So if you have to decide when you want to start meeting, delineating when you're sending out, like a timeline for sending out those rewards
Right.
to people.
Right.
Generally-
So that they don't worry that they don't receive I've not received rewards from Kickstarter campaigns before in
Okay,
a
and
timely manner.
Kickstarter is addressing this.
And I think that's a problem,
It is a
because
problem.
you've broke it, and I don't really think there's a way to get the money back per se, right? Because it's
That's correct.
kind of a contract.
It is a
But
gamble.
wow, what a breakdown when you've invested in somebody and then they don't.
And the key is
Yeah,
to stay in touch
exactly,
with
exactly.
that
Yeah.
artist or that
Right,
author,
exactly.
because it behooves them to keep their supporters happy. So I would suggest that you just get back in touch with them and stay on them. Sometimes things happen that delay things.
Right.
With our Starfish book, there was a delay, and but we let them know.
Right.
We kept telling everyone, okay, this is what's happened. Our printer had a problem here, and we're having to get new scans of all the illustrations. It's going to delay it another month. And people were wonderful. They were very gracious. I still have people. I had an email this week from one of my backers. Now that went through a year ago, August, for our book. And I got an email last week from one of my backers whom I've still never met. In fact, she got the conference package, the $250 package, and she says, what other books are you doing? Have you got anything else going? So it's a very, very good thing to do, even if you don't make your full funding. Go ahead and give me another one. This was a failed one that should have succeeded. Beautiful work on this. Okay, this one just ended 3 days ago. Fistics, he created a game. I'm not going to show you the video, but he talks about it. Then he does stop action, so you can see, it's a building game. Where you kind of build it up until it falls apart, almost like backwards Jenga, because you're building instead of taking down. Very clever. Scan down, I want you to see this. He too used a lot of visuals. He put in extra videos. He put in, I think, 4 videos. He got a little spot on Channel 3 News and put that up there. This is all good, okay? And then some stills. Go ahead, back up to the top. But here, that secret I showed you before, 16 updates. He ended up with 169 backers, and you can bet he's communicating with these people. Now, the value is when you do an update, that goes out to all of Kickstarter. Anyone can see the updates. They have a special section that brings up updates, okay? That's where you can get some of the people that you've never met before. But more importantly, it goes directly into the email box of anyone that contributed to you. And your job then is to say, look, we've reached 25% funding. I'm so excited about this. Keep your people pumped up and say, would you share this with your friends? If I don't get the full funding, none of us get the game, okay, or the music video, or whatever it is that you're working on. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show you about this. Again, the magic number, let's see where he had the most backers, Tom, in the rewards.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
If you'll go down.
He had too many backers, too many low dollar amount supporters.
Oh, no, this guy's,
But when you get up to $35, that's where he had 100 backers.
yeah, that's what I was going to show.
Yeah, but he had $1, $5, $10.
What did he do?
And he
for
sold
$1?
out on those. Pardon me?
What did he do for $1, seeing how the game
Yeah.
itself is a physical?
Let's see what he did.
A thank you.
Thank you. I will collect the name of everyone that contributes to this project, even for just $1, and post it on my website. That's very common.
And then for $5, he gave you a block.
So one of the wooden blocks. Okay.
Not much value there, so there was really no point to even put those on. And as you see, he got 8 backers total out of those 2.
And people can pledge any amount, even if you don't put up $1, they can pledge just $1 and get no reward. So it's just up to you whether or not you want to put that out there. But again, the magic number was 35. He had 100 supporters
What
at
was
the
his
35
goal,
level.
money-wise?
We'll go back up. Yeah. 5,000 is a goal.
So
He
he's
almost doubled it.
successful, because he almost doubled his.
He
Yes.
almost doubled it, yeah. And you keep whatever the override is, okay? You still have to fulfill all the rewards, yes.
I'm seeing a lot of, and your guys too, these shipping charges for out of the country. He's got Canada and whatever, and it keeps increasing as the pledge number goes up.
Yes.
Anywhere from 10 up to $50 or whatever. How do we determine what we're going to do with that?
A lot of them put that on arbitrarily to be.
I get this. Okay.
Yeah.
And generally
you can go to
speaking,
the post office
Yeah.
and get those actual figures if you want. A lot of them, it's just
They just throw it in there.
usually $20 is
Yeah.
what they say, anything outside of the United
Gotcha.
States.
for books, $10 is fine.
Mhm.
$10 extra for outside the U.S.
Okay.
For things like this, which is pretty heavy, $20 probably
Okay.
closer.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another, I gave you a failed one, a succeed, we'll do another failed one. Rhodochromium, now this is kind of an interesting thing. They actually did 2 campaigns. The first campaign was very successful. The first campaign, they had a goal of $7,000 to produce this movie and film it, and they raised $9,000, okay? They were successful. This one, they are trying to raise another $3,000 for their post-production. They've got 15 hours to go, only 6 backers, they're not gonna make it, all right? When you look at this video, we're not gonna do it, it's 3 guys sitting around talking about how much fun they had filming the movie and how this is gonna be great, and now we just need the post-production to do the special effects and the editing, and we need some software. They never showed me a single clip of them filming it, any behind the scenes, bloopers. Show me a blooper, show me something. I'm not even convinced the movie ever got filmed. Okay?
And there are 0 updates.
Once again, 0 updates.
There's no value added to your investment in a
Nothing.
sense, because you don't even know the quality of the initial role.
Exactly.
On the first one, do they
Exactly.
follow it and have a lot of updates?
On the first one, here's the biggest difference. On the first one, no, it was still pretty much them talking around and how great this was gonna be, and they told you more about the movie in the first one. But in their rewards, you're getting copies of the movie. In this one, we'll give you a sneak peek on our website to special downloads. We'll send you special what is special downloads? They have never defined it anywhere.
Now, you said on the first one, they offered a copy of the movie, right? If they don't get this post-production, how are they gonna even create the movie
That's
to send
exactly
the
right.
That's
people?
your guess and mine.
That's the problem.
Now they're not meeting
That's the
the needs
problem.
of the first campaign.
And so that's where it becomes a problem. What my guess is, they underestimated what it was gonna cost to produce the movie and thought, no big deal, we spend all our money, we'll just do another campaign. But what they don't realize, possibly different people like me, this is the first time I saw this, well, how come I don't get a copy of the movie? How come I don't get a copy of the movie? All the way up, I mean, they've got offers for like $5,000, you know? And I don't get a copy of the movie. Well, so I went back in and searched and discovered, oh, they already gave away the copies of the movies. Okay.
Nobody's gonna get that either.
What's it?
Nobody's gonna get that either, probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not now.
And that's why it's so important to go through that financial planning early on,
Right,
like I
exactly.
showed you in this screen.
Exactly. Okay, last one, I'm gonna show you a extremely successful one. This one, he did absolutely everything right. He's got 38 updates, 115 backers. His goal was $7,500 for a film. He raised $9,350. In his video, go ahead and play this, but keep the sound off. I want you to see this. This is about a movie he's going to produce, or was going to produce. In fact, he did produce it, and yet he didn't have the movie yet. So he couldn't show any clips of it. What he does, he's talking, as most people do on these. He begins showing you what he's done in the past, okay? He shows you behind the scenes of him filming different movies. What else about this? At $10, you get a copy of the movie. He had 16 backers there. At $25, you not only get the movie, you get a special thanks credit on IMDb. Now that doesn't cost him anything, okay? But what a cool thing, all right? At 20 backers, you get a VIP invitation to the screening, and on it goes. Again, that doesn't cost him extra. Okay, go on back up so they can see that running while it's running.
And we got about 1 minute left.
All right. And I think that's about all I wanted to tell you about that. He went ahead and produced this movie. It went on to, and Kevin can probably tell us because he starred in it. Parallax, the movie, and it went on to the Cannes Film Festival in France, which is the biggest for independent movies, and then also to Holly Shorts Film Festival.
In Hollywood.
It's in Hollywood. It's still.
It's won a couple of awards.
Yep, won some awards. So he's done very well with this, and I expect to see Paul Denegris really go places as a director. Interesting to note, and Kevin Gray as an actor, I expect to see him go places too. At the Sundance Film Festival this year, 30% of the movies that showed up at Sundance were, the money raised to produce them were raised on Kickstarter, so.
Kickstarter or other crowdfunding sites.
That's all I have to say.
And this is just our contact information if you want to get in touch with us.
Come on up and we can ask questions.
And we
Yes.
have
Twofold is if by email, is there any way to get a copy of the presentation or kind of some examples and content of what you've done?
You guys, if you want a copy of this book, which is basically what we presented plus more, I put these out here. Give me your name and email, and I will let you know when it's out. This is actually the proof. So there are still typos, there are still changes that need to be made, but it will be out. And then I will do a drawing today and give one away free. I won't give you this one because it does have the typos, but within probably
before Christmas.
Yeah, before Christmas, whoever wins it will have it. And I can let you know when the book comes out.
Did you say you want an email address?
An email address would be great.
But even if I didn't write down all the examples of the failed or whatever, if
we
I
don't really have a
Yes.
copy of
Okay.
it.
Do you have a pen or a pencil or something?
Yes.
But my second question is, does Kickstarter, so fraud, I think with any time you're taking on something like this, not just financial planning, it's like even with blogging, there's legal responsibilities
That's
for
correct.
copyright and other
Absolutely.
things. You have to be extremely cognizant, even if Kickstarter themselves maybe aren't taking an active role yet in fraudulent claims, which I hope they are as it
Kickstarter is very
escalates.
proactive.
Right.
That's why
You
we like that.
yourself, because the nature of art is such that it is not always successful, that you are ensuring your own legal soundness if even with the money is invested, if you cannot meet for whatever reason, because like I said, art is
Correct.
continuous in nature, that before you get it started, you're thinking about that piece, I think, as well, right?
That's correct.
Because you may not be able to meet it, even if you've spent the money ethically.
Right.
And see, here's
And what you think
here's
about
part
that.
of the process.
Time out just for a
Yes.
second. Also, if you would fill out this is just for us, so that we know if we have met your expectations. Give us a little feedback if, let's see, anybody else needs one?
So here from Kickstarter, you have to get your project approved to ever go on Kickstarter. Indiegogo, there's no filter.
There's none.
You can do whatever you want to do, and Indiegogo will post it. Okay? And that's a problem to me from an ethical standpoint, because you never really know who you're dealing with there. And especially when you have the flexible funding side, where, gee, we think there's a project here, and we just took $3,500 in, thank you. And there's no accountability. With Kickstarter, it's an all or nothing. So if you are not actively engaged in promoting it and letting people know what's going on, you're not going to achieve any funding at all. So we much prefer to have those fixed funding sites. And the other reason for that is there's a deadline. So when you're doing your promotion and there's no deadline to make your funding where anybody's going to get anything, they'll get nothing if it isn't reached in time. That deadline is saying, hey, if you want this thing, you better let everybody else know, because we're not to our goal yet. You really need to help us out here. And that really is a motivating factor, and I think that was one of the reasons why, as we were getting to the end, the day 39, we got that last bump to push us over that margin.
Okay, let me grab the little slips of paper and do a drawing to see
If
who
you'd
gets
also
the...
put your name on there so we know the name.
Your
with
name and email?
address.
And
Otherwise
I'll do a
you're
drawing.
xlz@yahoo.com,
Okay.
and we have, hey, is XLZ there? So, or email that, we just like to know who you are. And then you can,
Do you want to be in the drawing for the books? Because I'm going to draw right now. Oh, I need to put it on a piece of paper so it's all the same.
What do you want on that little piece of paper?
Your name and your email address, that's all we need.
And
And then we're gonna make that drawing right now so you'll know that something's coming to you, and then we will email you so that you can send us our address.
And also when the book comes out,
Yes.
you'll use that email.
Yes, I got
Our most common email address in the company is do not contact the choice of
Never mind.
Almost done here before the drawing.
And thank all of you for showing up on a Sunday morning, early in the morning. Okay, anybody else have any more of these?
I wish they taught these kind of things at the university level for young business.
Well, we're actually going to be doing some college speaking on this topic.
My son is an aspiring filmmaker. Yep. And it's kind of valuable a lot for him.
I always lose my tag. I lost it.
It's the backpack stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's done a lot of
It hurts, I'm not used to it.
Anybody else have any of these?
I did put this in cash and do the drawing.
Podcast.
Okay.
Really good creative.
Please don't, I'll just wrap up these.
Oh, great.
And the winner of the book is
Ryan Sherman.
Okay.
There you go. All
Awesome.
right. There you go. So we will mark you as the winner, and it'll probably be 4 to 5 weeks. But we'll email you right away and let you know. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I wish you had a lot of luck. And there are a lot of organizations here too where he can begin to get quite a bit of
Well, his two internships, well, his internships so far have been college work study at his run stage at ASU West. So he did that for the first 2 years, and then this year he's hoping to do something different than
Absolutely.
continue. He hasn't found
Everybody that funds these expects it's going to be
He's done
4 to 6 weeks
work.
minimum
when he was in high school.
Did they get you set up? No, I'm getting set up now. But he still has his stuff connected, so. Just connecting it. But I didn't do anything with the video stream. I'm sure you guys are cutting them up.
And then if that date is.
Oh, I'll take care of that.
They're
gonna edit the stuff. We could just- As long as we get it and we just had extra on the end. Oh, great. We're gonna edit that out eventually.
6-8 months sometimes because of unforeseen factors.
Don't give up on the dream.
And that's just part of the process. When you see the theaters today, it's not the And so, just as long as you're staying educated, people.
At this point,